this changes everything. You remember that Formula 1 guy that's certainly become quite a controversial figure, right? Well, at least from my perspective, all is forgiven. Now, it should be noted that while I do watch Formula 1, I don't necessarily follow it as rigorously as I follow Rallycross, so do bear with me. For those unaware, Mohammed Ben Sulayem is the current FIA president who came in to get the FIA under control after the beautiful chaos that was 2021. The racing was great, but their cash was not, and so Sulayem was brought in as a new FIA president to fix this, and he did. Yippee! And has also changed multiple rules nobody asked for, annoyed every single F1 team and driver, and often acts very unprofessionally. Even so, his passion for rallying cannot be overstated. While his ventures in open wheelers were, shall we say, less successful, this dude can boogie in anything with a roof. And while he didn't accomplish much in the WRC, it's mostly due to a lack of cash he had at the time. When he wasn't suffering from mechanical issues, he was usually within the top 10. And so, with his F1 knowledge and financial understanding, it's safe to say he is more than prepared to run a rally championship, which is exactly what he's decided to do. After not getting a deal worked out with a new promoter, having fired their creatively named Rallycross promoter, Mohammed Ben Sulayem has decided to take charge of the entire thing with backing from the FIA. Now, before you all start keyboard warring away, he's already made one change that I should not see a single person in this comment section try to argue with. According to the FIA themselves, to kickstart this new era of growth and as part of the FIA's commitment to build even stronger foundations for the World and European Rallycross Championships, the FIA is prioritizing free-to-air coverage and digital accessibility. This will be crucial for the championships to reach new fans and provide additional value to commercial partners and sponsors by maximizing reach and engagement. I know it's a bit premature to say this, but we are so back. Now, if you haven't watched this video, you totally should, because I put effort in editing that one. But even Andrew Coley and the Hansens agree with this, in that making the championship behind a paywall was actually dumb. I cannot think of one advantage they got from that, except maybe $600 a year from the 6 Rallycross fans that could actually afford to watch it.
Although I'm being really honest, I haven't followed the World Championship very much because it was behind a paywall, which was a terrible decision. But I haven't. That was the worst decision they made. Over everything else.
Now, one of the not very dumb things they did was add the Battle of Technologies, which in my opinion they should have just done from the get-go. I don't know why they decided to jump into with electric, but that kind of backfired, literally. But yeah, turns out cars that look like this aren't very appealing to fans. Who'd have thought? Regardless, they fixed that oversight, allowed gas cars back, and this season was very interesting, with the exception from Mete. Stop bringing that track back! Overall, the series does seem to be getting back on its feet, finally starting to win the Rallycross fans back over, but they are going to have stiff competition. Now, let's be real, Championship Off-Road is not going to be much of a threat despite their impressive expansion, mainly due to how different the majority of their fan bases are, but even so, RallyX is more than ready to give them a run for their money. RallyX have been making big moves this year, and have expanded their European operations across the whole country, stealing Montalegre, Bickernicki, Estering, and World Rallycross's new pride and joy, Kamaring in Finland, and likely the Canada Ice Race or Street Circuit at Trois-Rivières, though nothing has been confirmed yet. For Mohammed Ben Sulayem's first run at World Rallycross, 7 events are planned, and the whole calendar will be revealed on the 14th, hence why I am speedrunning, recording, and editing this video. The only 2 races we know about are Holiest and the grand return of everyone's favorite Portuguese circuit, Lausitz. Otherwise, it's all up in the air. My personal guess is that every race from the original calendar will take place with either Canada or Australia being cancelled, or both of them being canned and South Africa coming back. Yes, I do think that even though RallyX has thoroughly embarrassed them, they've spent way too much time and money on the new Finnish circuit to let the Erikssons get away with stealing their new baby. They might even try to schedule their races ahead of RallyX's, beating them to the punchline of being the first ones on that track. With that said though, there's nothing really stopping them from just using one of their more recently built Rallycross tracks. Which one did they build last again? Ah! The only other location up in the air is Great Britain. Coventry could still run a street circuit, but I could also see a grand return to the birthplace of Rallycross, Linden Hill. Or they could also dig the Rallycross track in Silverstone back up. I can't see them going to Croft, as it's going to be a very tight squeeze, and the track somehow still has no Joker lap, so it's not FIA sanctioned. I've also seen rumors of a brand hatch return and just... no. One thing they could do is swap out Great Britain with a new location of France. I could see them returning to SA or Loyac, and with Linden Hill still being salty over Little Lancia Lighting legal labor, I can see them not exactly being the best buddies with the FIA. And with the FIA completely under control, I can see at least one new team joining the grid, and that team could be ES Skoda. ES Motorsports are armed with their new Skoda Fabia RX-1Es that were supposed to join the grid back in 2024, and didn't. For some reason. This might just be the incentive they need to bring Skoda back to the top level of Rallycross. I mean, they put on a good performance in 2019 when they had Kevin Abbering. They won the entire European Championship with Bakkerud and Baumanis in 2021, and then they proceeded to immediately kill off all of the momentum they had in 2022. Hopefully they'll get a good lineup for this season, because we know this team has what it takes to compete with the big boys. Now, it's only a matter of money, so hopefully they can get a title sponsor and get it all figured out with the new interest in Rallycross. Another new face we could see is the new Ford team. Ford hasn't really been interested in Rallycross ever since Hoonigan Racing collapsed, OMSE changed to First Corner, and starred Ford a disappearing act. I'm sorry for this egregious pronunciation, but Rinsalu Sport have been keeping us up to date on their brand new Ford Puma supercar. I've honestly been very impressed with how much they've built it, and seeing this shot in particular with the road-going Ford Puma in the background, I bet we could see this team become a fan favorite if they put the right people in. Maybe an Estonian hero and a big name like Baumanis could make for a very lovable team, just like the Hoonigan Racing division with their Ford Focus supercars. Even so, the entry costs absolutely need to be lowered. Counting Proton, there are 3 semi-works teams that have ties to manufacturers and are interested in joining, but can't break through that costly entry barrier. This was hilarious for ES Skoda back in 2021, where under all circumstances, they should have been in the World Series, but didn't have the cash to make it into the big league. Something that will help, to the relief of everyone, Volvo Construction Equipment and Hoosier Racing Tire Europe have decided to maintain their partnership with the sport. Now, Volvo isn't just racing, but they also play a big part in preparing the tracks to make them more entertaining. For example, they made the China street circuit as good as it was, and did their best to improve Mete. The slightly more controversial sponsor, Hoosier Racing, has left drivers not necessarily liking their tires, mainly because of their lack of grip and low durability. At least in my eyes, I'd rather have the tires than not. And they do make for some entertaining racing. Cooper Tires has been the provider since 2014, and a change 9 years later is surely going to throw everybody off initially. All of the drivers are going to need to adapt to the new tires, and their whole driving styles could possibly change, so I get why they don't necessarily like them. With that said though, low grip is one of the reasons why Nitrocross was so well received. The slick tires provided absolutely nothing, and it worked. The drivers might not have loved it, but it made for a show. It made for an entertaining racing series that I think will go down as some of the best seasons of Rallycross in America. The only thing that I think this new FIA ran Rallycross series is missing is an RX2 class. RX2 was the spec racing series, so drivers and teams could easily tell who had talent and who did not. This series was, and still is, successful until its replacement in 2021 with RX2E. QEV Technologies created the Zeroid X1, and it's, shall we say, unique? Despite my personal opinion on the car, it did do its job well, and it was a deciding factor into getting Klara Andersson her big shot at PWR Volvo. However, there was definitely a lack of sponsorship, drivers, and care put into it, which was probably for the better, as frankly it had turned into a demolition derby. In its place, we will likely have cross cars. While it hasn't been formally announced yet, the FIA have said the investment by the FIA in the highest levels of the Rallycross discipline also indicates its commitment to develop the entire progression pathway for off-road motorsport. There is a focused strategy to work collectively with national sporting authorities, or ASNs, to strengthen this pathway, starting from entry-level cross-car events with clear, accessible steps from national and regional competition through the top level of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Now, crosscar is absolutely enormous in RallyX, to the point where it has a waiting list. I can absolutely see Mohammed Ben Sulayem just seeing how many people love that category and just trying to grab a piece of that pie. And even from a driver's perspective, it makes sense. It could be a new door to possibilities to past winners of RallyX and European Autocross superstars. Really, it should have been added years ago, because the category's official name is FIA cross car that they launched back in 2018. These little pocket rockets have already proven themselves, not just in RallyX, but also in the Latvian series, older Nitrocross races, the British series, that other British series, the Spanish series, and European autocross, as previously mentioned. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if Mohammed Ben Sulayem keeps all his promises and manages to impress us with his schedule, then, at least from my perspective, all is forgiven. And yes, I did mean to use the word us, as a new Discord server named Rallycross Fans is up and running. Because, you know, let's be real, if you've made it this far into this video, you like yapping about Rallycross, or you like hearing me yap about Rallycross, which is great because I love yapping about Rallycross, so join this server and we can yap about Rallycross together. Now, do me a favor, and if you've made it this far, feel free to just like, subscribe, join the server, do all that stuff. I'm done though, I gotta get started with editing. Thank you for watching, and go watch Rallycross.